That's beautiful. Sick. It's gonna blow up.
Hey guys, I'm here with my boy, Sonny! And we're gonna be squatting again today. So Sonny's a weightlifter and I'm a powerlifter, but we both work at very high levels, even though we're working on very different things. And we're gonna train together again, and you're gonna check out our session, and we're gonna come together at the end of the session and have a chat about what we did today. Check it out. So, before I touch an empty barbell, I do lots of sets of just body weight. So right now, the way that I do it like this, I don't know, I call them bend overs. It's my warm up where I'll probably do about 20 reps and multiple sets of 20, where I'm acting as I'm bending over and picking something up off the ground. So in a squat, I don't want to bend over, I want to squat. But for my warm ups, bending over is basically using a lot of my back muscles as well, which I want blood in that area. So before I get to the empty bar, I want my body to be warm, and I want to be moving nicely with an empty bar. A lot of the times I used to just go straight to an empty bar and start moving like that. It didn't feel nice, so now I just take my time. I'm showing my age, I'm 38 years old, so I like to take my time. Just so you know, my session's probably gonna take me about 2 hours or so. I know a lot of people don't have that much time, which is a big reason why a lot of people don't spend as much time warming up. But when people freak out about how can you train for that long? Well, most of the training isn't actually training. So the warm up, this is probably gonna take me about half an hour or so before I touch an empty bar.
Sweet.
My belt's on, but it's not on, like that's on. So I just sit it there. When I put my hands on the inside of my legs, on the inside of my knees, it forces me to open my hips and push my knees out, which is what I'm working on when I squat, especially with wraps, opening the hips, pushing the knees into the wrap. Okay, a lot of people think about squatting as sitting back into a chair. That's not how it's done. Okay, open the hips. A squat's a three-dimensional movement. How old are you, Sonny?
25 going on 35.
Spring chicken.
Look at this fucking hairline, man. I'm ready for a transplant, if anyone knows anything. But I have grown a beard overnight, hit puberty last week. What do you reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. Still looking
You
like
couldn't
a
grow one.
How long have you been weightlifting for, Sonny? When were you in the Olympics? 2016? How old were you then?
22, so it took me 11 years. 11 years to get to the Olympics.
11 years to
I
become an overnight
close.
success, huh?
Yeah, close after 8 years. Made it in 11.
Don't let the age fool you. He's young, but he's been doing it for a long time to get to that level. A lot of people say, oh, but this guy is so young, and you know, imagine him when he's another 10 years. Well, there's already been a lot of that.
It's all about keeping your body in, isn't it? It's like you're saying with your warm-up. When I get to your age, I'm probably gonna have to fucking warm up as long as well.
I'm sure you will.
I've already noticed people, my old training partners that were like 10 years older than me growing up, about wait till you get to 25, and I'm like, no, I'm not warming up. And I'm just getting to that point now where everything starts to hurt a little bit more, and I'm gonna have to start doing some sort of warm-up.
How long would it normally take you to warm up, Sonny?
It'll take me about 2 minutes to warm up today, because I'll get straight into the squat. I will start with the bar though, and all my weights up to around 150 I'd class as warm-up sets anyway. But I wouldn't do any pre-activation, although like I do think it's got a place for some people when you get old and creaky.
So quite different from Bas's warm-up. Yeah. Nice.
When you get older, like me. 38, but I still don't consider myself old. There's
How long have you been training for?
I've been training, so when I met my missus, I was 19 years old and I was 63 kilograms. And I was skinny. I wasn't doing hip thrusts. They weren't around then. They weren't the cool thing to do. Now that they are the cool thing to do, I still haven't done them. Maybe one day when I'm cool.
But maybe tomorrow for the anniversary.
We'll see. It's our anniversary tomorrow. Very good.
Happy anniversary.
He loves me.
Rule that I have with squats is to grab the bar as close as your shoulder mobility allows. But when I do my first sets, my shoulders are a little bit stiff, so I've just been warming on my lower body, but not much on my upper body. So my first set, you'll see I kind of grab it with a very wide whip. That's quite tight on my chest and shoulders. I did bench press 2 days ago, so my upper body is a little bit tight. So right now, that's where my shoulder mobility allows. And as I get warmer, my hands are going to come in closer and closer to create more and more tension on my upper back. The depth that I'm working on with this squat variation is crease of the hip to go below the top of the knees. So there's a lot of hip bend in this motion, but that is slightly below, the crease of the hip is slightly below the top of the knee. That's what I'm working towards. We'll see how Sonny does his squats after this, but it's a different type of squat.
I always wear these shorts for Bas. They pop up. The old bollock poppers.
So you'll see his squat depth for what he's trying to achieve. It's more beneficial to, as he calls it, put his bollocks in his socks. Ass to grass, full depth, weightlifting style of squat.
Nuts to death.
Whereas for myself in a powerlifting competition, that's what we need to achieve. The crease of the hip below the top of the knee, more hip involvement in my style of squat, more quad involvement in his style of squat.
And it's also very important that you wear lycra when you're squatting, so you're more streamlined into the bottom position. You don't want any drag into the hole, so full lycra.
2 sets of nothing, so those bend overs. Now this is my second set of an empty bar. This bar is 25 kilograms and I've got 2.5 kilo clips on, so that's 30 kilograms.
Nice.
Starting to wake up a bit now. 3 coffees deep. Still can't smell any big squats yet. How for you?
To do a hang snatch.
Normally harder.
Right.
Normally harder. My best ever hang snatch is 158.
Yeah.
Best full snatch is 160.
160.
There's not much between it, and there shouldn't be really. It's the same as like jerks for a weightlifter. The dip and drive phase is exactly the same, regardless whether you split jerk, power jerk, or squat jerk. Right. So there shouldn't be much in between it, especially if you're a super elite, because you'll have good mobility to do a squat
it's
jerk.
just preference, you mean?
Yeah, well, there's more margin for error on a split jerk than there is on a squat jerk. Yeah. So that's why people will tend to opt to do split jerk. Yeah. But in terms of like, I'll still use squat jerk and power jerk as part of my training because they'll assist my split jerk.
Yeah.
But it's
jerking today or just pure legs?
I could do front squat jerk today. 3 front squat, 1 jerk.
You've done 200 for a jerk before?
Yeah, 212 and a half. Right. I could do 3 front squats, 1 jerk today. Try and do like 170 or 2 front squats, 1 jerk. Yeah, that's a good idea. There you go. We've got a session.
What ideas?
Front squat jerks.
Squat jerks. Here we go.
That was my second set of that weight. The first set I did more reps. Anyway, second set I'm just going to do singles. So I'll go up 25 kilograms each set. one rep, and I'll probably be maybe 2 to 3 to 4 minutes between these sets, however long it takes me to reload the plates, and then it'll take a little bit longer when I start wrapping my knees. And then before my top set, I'll be looking at about 8 to 10 minutes rest between the sets.
Solid.
Oi, Bas!
Show me!
This is a proper high bar.
Video, Bas. Hey Bas, check my high bar.
Yes!
I'm going high bar.
Oh, he's got it!
High bar.
Oh, wow, that was impressive. Are these your favorite squat shoes, Bas?
Yeah, I like to do, for my competition style of squat, which is the low bar squat, I like to use flat soled shoes. So there's nothing special about these except for the fact they've got very little cushioning at the bottom, and the sole is flat, and they look cool. Converse Chuck Taylors, another variation, but a weightlifting shoe is something else that I use, that Sonny's using today. I use that for a different variation. So when I'm trying to build quadriceps, I use my quadriceps a little bit better and focus on staying more upright. I'll use the weightlifting shoe. Notice the difference between his squat and my squat. He's more upright.
Do you know what? The amount of times people say to me, "Oh, Sonny, what's the best weightlifting shoe?" Do you know what? It's not gonna make the world of difference to me, maybe 1 or 2%. But for a beginner, especially if you're weightlifting, it's extremely important, okay? They help give you a lot more stability, and they help the mobility because they've got a raised heel. So if anyone struggles sitting upright in the bottom position, they're gonna help with that, which is why we use weightlifting shoe. And for the stability, as you can see, they're extremely flat. Okay, so I always recommend them for a beginner. Also today I'm doing split jerks. So again, I want a nice solid platform for my feet to be landing in while I'm doing these split jerks. So yeah,
Sounds good.
It's a must. It's a must.
And do you always wear wrist wraps?
For jerks, yeah. These are just boxing hand wraps. But if you're an absolute flex god, like Bas, then you're just flexing off white spot. One day I'll get there. Not yet.
Sounds good.
Knee reps on for that set, really, really soft. That's 5 revolutions of a really, really soft wrap. But then on the next set, I'm gonna use the same soft wraps, but go a little bit tighter, and then keep going tighter and tighter up until I hit my top set. Belt as well, look how loose that is. But the next set, check out this belt, they're 1/2 inch increments. That's called Pioneer Cut. I love this belt. It allows me to go up by 1/2 inch every time. Most belts are in 1 inch increments. But then as I get heavier, I'm gonna use my lever belt. So that's a thicker, tighter belt. And it's easy to get on. I had every intention on doing some deadlifts as accessory work to today to maintain some deadlift strength, but I have a big squat goal, so that's something that I never miss out on. My best squat is 375, my best deadlift is 330. So that's a big part of the reason as to why my squats are so much better than my deadlifts. But I like squatting. That's only 180 kilograms. I just missed the bounce a little bit. The bell was pretty much not even on. I was expecting to bounce, but it didn't bounce, but that's okay. Let me see it. I'll tell you if I have to do that weight again. If it was just crap, I'll have to. That's fine.
That's fine.
About.
Okay, Sonny. So what do you normally drink when you train?
This is water, and I pour Himalayan salt in it. Any salt will do, but Himalayan salt is healthier for you than just regular white table salt. It's got other minerals in it, but sodium is the only one that I'm after, so it doesn't really matter. And then the next thing is coconut water, high in potassium. It's good for hydration. So it's not just water that you drink from the tap to rehydrate you. It's sodium and potassium. These are the electrolytes that we need to replenish when we're training. So that's my tip that I got from Hafthor actually. He's huge on hydrating yourself the right way, which is no surprise, everyone should be. But a lot of people just don't know. We're kind of just taught to drink lots of water.
Is that only for high-level elite athletes,
No.
or is it for everyone?
No, I make my daughter, who's 9 years old, drink salt water. She doesn't like the taste of it, but I always encourage her to have a sip from my bottle.
Yeah.
And I make sure she's getting sodium, potassium in her diet. Sodium comes from salt, potassium comes from bananas, kiwi fruits, spinach. She doesn't really like coconut water.
Nice Bas.
205 kilograms, and now I'm going to change to stronger reps.
Was there more bounce in that one for that set?
Yeah, it's a little bit better than the last set because I just switched on a little bit more.
Yeah.
I don't try as hard as I can in the warm-ups to push it as fast as I can. A lot of people talk about putting a lot of intent through the bar and working exactly how you're going to work on the top weight. I get that mentality and I follow a lot of those similar principles, but I'm more about controlling the weight as you would control the top weight. Not exploding up as you would explode up at the top weight. Something that I learned with Boris Shiko, one of the Russian godfathers of powerlifting. In powerlifting, if there's 200 kilograms on the bar, put 200 kilograms of force through the bar. In weightlifting, it's different. In weightlifting, his recommendation, this might be different to Sonny's, but this was the Russian way. If it's 100 kilos on the bar, put 140 kilos of force on the bar. That's for weightlifting when it's an explosive sport. Powerlifting, it's explosive somewhat, but not the same degree as weightlifting. So that's what I'm doing here. And I was a little bit too relaxed for the set before. I was expecting all of the equipment and the tension of my body to bounce me up. And that didn't happen. At some point you've got to push as well.
Nice. Solid. Woo. Is there a reason why you wet your hands before you wrap, Bas?
Yeah, this is grip. A lot of people use chalk.
Yeah.
Chalk takes moisture out, which is why it's good for grip for your grabbing barbells. Because that moisture is slippery on barbells, but on the cloth like this, it's grippy. So I like to wet my hands to wrap knees.
Okay, makes sense.
That's more grippy than chalk, for this material anyway. Not for metal, don't go and wet your hands and deadlift.
Fucking send this down the old patch.
Send it. Let's go, Sonny. Nice. Send it. Hey.
But my dignity just felt
Let's go, Bas.
Bas, Sonny.
Nice. Hey, solid.
quiet, bro. Let's go.
Come on, Bas.
Take out strong. Come on.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
Nice.
See, that's me. This is also me regulating like how deep should I go. Like if that's too deep, I know that when I wrap it tight, it'll be harder to get that. But when I go that touch shallow, like the perfect depth, it bounces up a lot faster. So that set was easier than the set before actually. And then ideally, so now the next two sets, I make my belt tighter as well. Belt tighter, knee wraps tighter.
Top territory there.
I need 385, that's my next goal.
Let's go, Sonny.
Let's go, guys.
That's it, that's it.
Let's go, bro.
Come on, fast with these squats.
Let's go, Sonny. That's it. Nice. Send it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Send this then, bro.
Let's go, Bas.
Yes.
Nice.
20's going on.
Yeah.
Session kind of complete. We both worked up to a great top set each. I just squatted 320 kilograms for a triple, a little bit off program, but Sonny came back from Saudi Arabia, so we didn't train for a week, so it was kind of like a bit of an excitement session. What did you do today, bro?
So I was taking it pretty easy today, but I did do a lift that I haven't done in absolutely ages. I did front squat jerks, which was kind of, again, a little throw in there at the end of the start of the day instead of just squatting, and I went up to 170 for 2 front squats, 1 jerk, which for me means that you should be able to do a clean and jerk with that weight. But it felt quite comfortable, and I'm going to crank up the steam next week on the squats. But guys, anyway, we're saying we're going to be doing plenty more of these videos together. If there's anything in particular that you guys want to see from me and Bas together, then smash it in the comments section and we'll get a video to you very soon.
Click like, subscribe, and do what he said. Yay. See you next time, guys.